is the clock. Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the second episode of the Resonant Heart mini-series. We are SARAY Iluminado Femme. This is Irini Vela on the lautos, Kelly Dow on ney flutes, clarinet and the frame drum, and my name is Nela Trifkovic. I'm the vocalist of SARAY Iluminado Femme. Before we start tonight, I wish to express my immense gratitude for the possibility of gathering on this land. We stream this event for you from the Wurundjeri land, and it is with great honor and privilege that we are able to share our work from here. And I wish to acknowledge all the traditional owners of the land, past, present, and emerging, to express my own personal gratitude. I'm a person of exile, zooming in from a taken land. And also, we wish to acknowledge and pay our respects and send our greetings to all the Indigenous viewers that are joining us from around the world today. So today, we're here to share stories of our coming together to play Sevdah, traditional music of Bosnia and Herzegovina, where I come from, and Sephardic Jewish music. This particular tune that is currently in development is one of the first Sevdah songs that I learned with my father in southeastern Bosnia. Sevdah is a particularly dear form to me because it was the one place where women in our culture could talk about feelings as early as the Middle Ages. Those songs were shared amongst the female family members. They were shared at home, and slowly they made their way to the taverns, they made their way into the society, and became songs of social commentary. This particular song, called Zapjevala Sojka Ptica, or The Morning Bird Sang, is a tune about unlikely friendship. So a girl is waking up for, what she thinks is a usual Sunday morning. What she doesn't know is that it's actually a day of arranged marriage for her. But she gets woken up by a persistent and a curious bird, and this bird says, "Wake up, get your dowry ready. You didn't even know, but this is the day." So that was the song of the young woman and the bird. And one of the things that I really love about Sevdah is the turn that it takes in the dramatic narrative and in the music. So you might have thought initially when I said that it's about arranged marriage that this might have been a sad song, but what the poem also reveals is this unexpected, unlikely allyship between a bird and a girl. And Balkan folk songs and folk stories are full of such unlikely friendships, unlikely allyships. And I think ours was, well, not necessarily an unlikely, but an amazing allyship. Irene and I met 5 years ago? I feel like I've known you my entire life.
Yeah.
5 years ago at Signet?
We knew about each other, but we did meet properly at a Signet Folk Festival where you came to a workshop of the Habibis.
I went to Irene's workshop, then I took her to a whiskey bar, then one thing led to another. But I would love to take this opportunity to throw it over to Irene to tell you a bit about her involvement in Balkan music and the instruments that she plays.
Well, a bit like Nella, I'm a kind of a Balkan animal. So my background is my mother's, she's Greek from the heart of ancient Greece, which is the southern Greece, the Peloponnese. And my father's actually an Albanian who's Turk, so his father's an ethnic Albanian, his mother's Turkish, and he was born in a place called Tetovo, which is now technically in North Macedonia. And I remember when I went overseas not that long ago, I've been to Greece a number of times, but about 2 years ago I went to see my Albanian relatives who I'd never met before. And that was quite awesome, and my dad's brother, who's still alive. And I remember, driving, taking a trip back to Greece, and we went through some Albanian towns like Korçë, and I met a guy who ran a hotel, and he asked me about my background, and I told him. He goes, "You're a true Ottoman," he goes, and and I thought, yeah, actually I am a true Ottoman, and I think that's we've got a lot in common.
Well, your dad and I are both born in Yugoslavia. It's just
exactly.
I'm not sure if it was Yugoslavia in his time, but we're both born in former Yugoslavia.
True, yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Where's the instrument you're tuning now from?
This one it's similar to the one I first played, but it's down a fifth. So it's called a Cretan lauto, Cretan lute, and they play them southeastern Ireland. So not just Crete, but Crete is well known for them, and it's tuned re-entrant tuning, so G, D, A, E, and the second last note is actually the lowest note, which gives it a special sound. So yeah, the Cretan lauto, which is a strange instrument to be playing in Bosnian music, but hey, this is Australia.
Well, I will take a little deviation and tell you that my vision of Sevdah and Sephardic music was I did a lot of research about the territory of what's now Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Middle Ages, and particularly about today's Sarajevo, but in the Middle Ages. And between the 1500s and the 1800s, according to the writings of Javad Karahasan, who's a well-known cultural theorist and theatre practitioner, 7 or 8 languages were spoken in the city itself. There was a Slav language, Italian, Ladino, Greek, Arabic, Turkish, and there was also a Persian language spoken. So I really wanted to explore that time of harmony and cross-pollination when amazing multilingual, multi-instrumental people roamed the Balkans and, all got together and shared food and music in a city that is just about 1 million people. So I love having these instruments, and I love going into my culture's dream time and imagining what it would have been like if I was there in 1500s. dolazi, dragi, ne treba, jer ti drugu dragu sada miluješ. Aj, ti si rekao da si that was the ultimate courting song from the Bosnian culture. It talked about all or nothing kind of love, the kind of love where your best coffee and your best silk bed sheets are reserved for that special someone, but should they have any other interests, forget it. So keep that in mind when you're dating someone from the area. We're going to play some Sephardic music soon, and Sephardic music is something that I grew up with through beautiful cassette tapes of Flori Jagoda, of the nonna of the Sephardic music in Bosnia, or maybe even Bis Nonna, the great-grandmother, I'm not sure. We played a show on the 29th of January this year, and she died on that day in the United States, and we had this really incredible performance at Bar Rasu. The energy was beautiful. There was about 30 people. It was between lockdowns. We all wanted to be a part of something bigger than all of us, and one of my greatest inspirations went and became a part of the allegorical realm. It was quite amazing. And speaking of the allegorical realm, I always think of the ney flute when I think about that. So I would love to throw it over to Kelly, for Kelly to introduce herself and her journey into Balkan, Middle Eastern and Turkish music and her instruments.
Thanks, Nella. My journey, well, I grew up in Brisbane where I studied classical clarinet, and while I was very fortunate to happen across a very tiny but vibrant community of musicians who are really excited about not just Balkan music but also Turkish and Arabic, Persian and Greek as well. And with this group of people we would meet every week and share our knowledge, share tunes and styles and ornaments and whatever we knew about the theory. And out of that scene, a lot of bands came out. Then I moved to Melbourne and met Nella. I hadn't heard, I don't think, any Sevdah music. I don't think so before I met you.
You wouldn't have said it from your participation in the group, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, and I think, Nella, you were looking for a ney player, maybe for this band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seem to recall.
I'm tempted to say it was a big kind of brave emotional step for me to share this music. So I was looking for a ney player. I was also looking for people to work with who could hold space in case I fall apart, because, you know, this music is laden with tradition, but also grief and conflict, and now hopefully the healing of the heart. So when Kelly and I met at this particular jam session, was it like at so. Alex's place? Yeah, we met at a friend's house. We really hit it off, and I was a mess. I was running home to speak with my dad, who was calling from Europe, from Bosnia, and we sort of had a hug and hello, and I said to her, I've got to go talk to my dad, but can we please spend time together? And she still came back and wanted to have me in her life. So
of course, and what a pleasure
it was great.
It is.
Do you want to introduce the ney?
Sure. Well, yeah, I play the Turkish ney. There are a few varieties of ney. There's Turkish ney, the Persian ney is different, and Arabic ney is similar, but they're all very old instruments of different varieties of an end-blown flute, I suppose. Very simple, made from a plant that grows by the river, a reed. And yeah, it's become, you mentioned the allegorical realm, it's become very symbolic, particularly in Turkey, but a few other places, of Sufism, mystical Islam, and they say that the sound of the ney is like the cry of separation or longing from the beloved. And I think, will we play now a Sephardic piece?
We will.
Yeah, and I'll play ney again.
So we'll play Gül Pembe, which is actually a Turkish expression. The piece itself is in Ladino, in sort of 15th century Spanish with Turkish and Balkan language, with influences of the languages of where people migrated. But Gül pembe, to my understanding of the Turkish Ladino dialect, it means a little rose, but it's sort of a term reserved for that irresistible crush that you have. Their gül pembe. The one that you sort of can't handle, can't have, can't let go of either. Yo pasé, te vi de asentada, la llave dura yo besé, como besarlas tus caras, aman aman gül pembe, gül pembe. Que te besé, te tengo ya abrazado, como el ducado de SARAY, te tengo y besado, aman aman gül pembe, gül pembe, ne bu güzellik sende. Aman aman gül pembe, gül pembe, ne bu güzellik sende. Ojos pretos tienes tú, por lo mavis me muero. Cuando veo los vedrolis, abajo y ahí me entero. Aman aman gül pembe, gül pembe, ne bu güzellik sende. aman gül pembe, gül pembe, ne bu güzellik sende. So the group that has been sharing with you tonight is SARAY Iluminado Femme. We are the female derivative, or a trio female derivative of a larger group. Originally we were a 5-piece band, featuring also violinist Ernie Gruner and vocalist and double bassist Dan Whitten. But I was thinking in the lead up to the next piece, to how did we form the Femmes? Was it the women's iftar?
Yes.
Probably, yes.
I think we were invited during the time of Ramadan by Hannah Safiri.
Hannah, yeah.
By the amazing woman behind the Moroccan Soup Kitchen bar here in Melbourne, to appear at an all-female iftar celebration and to bring some music. And I feel like this group really kind of came together then, very sporadically.
It was just after a photo shoot. We had a photo shoot.
We did.
And I thought, come on down.
We drove across town.
We were very well dressed, but we were rushed. It was, and it was sort of like, without knowing it then, a seed of the Resonant Heart in some way, that we really, at least for myself, I saw the value of also all-female lineups playing Balkan music, because it still is sort of largely male-dominated industry, and there are a lot of incredible solo artists, a lot of incredible women, but I hadn't come across many traditional, or as we do, contemporary reimaginings of traditional music, female ensembles, and something really kind of special happened. Like, we arrived, we didn't know where we were going. There were North Macedonian dancers, we'd missed all the food. They thought we'd know all the music from all their countries. They didn't realize that we're confined to about 5 or 6 countries, which is still quite a lot. And they would just come up to us and say, "Sviraj," which in Slav means play, and I would go, "Maybe that one." And we would play, and Irini played some great Greek tunes, and they loved dancing to that. But I thought that this was a good moment just to segue a little bit into both your experiences of Sevdah and Sephardic, because your journeys have been very different.
But it's the same kind of language, you know. It's the same musical languages. There are differences of rhythms sometimes, depending on where you go, and slight shifts of harmony. You know, I think, say for example, you know, like a lot of Bulgarian music, for example, has a particular harmony that developed in the last 30, 40 years with folklorism, you know. But the, you know, the modes and the rhythms and the energy is similar, you know, and you know, the Balkans really do have something very special and unique that relates to the East and the Near East. But you know, there are variations on a theme, so it feels comfortable playing each other's music. It doesn't feel odd at all. It feels like it's meant to be, and that we're forging a kind of trans-Balkan kind of language. I think Mediterranean Balkan.
I have a silly question, but I will just. I was going to say I'll pop it on national television, but we're not on national television. We're somewhere quite different. Do you have a thing in mind now that is Sevdah for you, like having come through Greek and Turkish and Bulgarian and all the musical experience? Like, do either of you have an ornament or a lick or something that you've identified with Sevdah in the time that we've been working together?
Ah, interesting. Yeah, no, it's more your vocals that I pick up. I mean, you know, in terms of playing, there's a lot of crossover between styles, and we bring those trans-Eastern Balkan styles, but it's your vocals and the vibrato you give, the ornamentation and the quality of the way the notes unfold, which is very, very must be very Sevdah and very you as well.
Yeah, and I think with my instruments, they're melody instruments, and I'm really listening to you and trying to kind of complement you and mirror you a little bit. And I've listened to a lot of Sevdah now since meeting you quite a bit, and I think what I really love and appreciate about playing with this group is that you really encourage us to be ourselves musically. Even though we're playing this repertoire, we're really reimagining it or creating something a bit new together with all of our different backgrounds here in Australia together.
I feel that,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's
reconstruction.
yeah,
Deconstruction, reconstruction, and you allow that creativity.
and I guess for me it was like I remember we're being live streamed by Francie and Eyal, who you can't see because Eyal's making it all happen off stage, but Eyal and I had many conversations in the lead up to making this, and we were talking, and I remember saying once, I can't remember in what context, Eyal, the greatest tragedy of my life was that I really believed that I lived in the best possible country, Yugoslavia, until it wasn't so anymore. And I really believed that all those individualities are allowed until it didn't seem to be so. And so for me, I wasn't born somewhere where I disliked or I was oppressed. I was born somewhere where for me was great, and then it got a bit ugly. And hopefully it's on the way of being great now as new countries emerge. I really wish that for them. But it just actually made me think of that when you both said I love working with people where they're at and meeting you both like if you were at somewhere very vibrant in your musical journeys. And I just wanted for that to find space in this music. And I don't know if you're watching, but I have friends in Belgrade. They have this great band called The Naked Band. Cue for taking clothes off. Bane, if you're watching this right now or at any point, I just remember that today is the day of the Republic. So to all the Yugo nostalgic ones, what an amazing time to actually be doing this live stream. And my greetings to Sarajevo and Belgrade and everyone that's tuned in right now, because I know some people will be, and I'm feeling very appreciative of that. They're really hard times in the Balkans, and taking time out to watch us from a yoga studio feels like a luxury. I can't remember what we were going to play next.
Well, one of the most Balkan pieces in your repertoire, which I think is Kraj Portugal.
Well, this is a good moment for me to be over-emotional and saying hello to people, because we're, oh my God. So this is a piece of, Sevdah has many different like subcategories, and this is what's called Kara Sevdah, or Black Sevdah. So this is the one where you basically spill your blood and guts in a song, or to your best friend, or in a tavern over a bottle of something, or to a camera, which is what I'm doing. And it talks about a relationship of a young woman to this brook, to this water, and how it gets very Jungian, almost like Jungian psychology. The more she looks at the water and the more she cries for her beloved, the more she gets in touch with her soul, and the more she can also see and have a premonition of how she would want her death to be, in this very regal way, connected to her beloved. So there is dignity even in going to the other world. We're nearing the end of our presentation, and in the last little section, we just wanted to bring it back to the Resonant Heart. So the farms, Irene, Kelly and I started the Resonant Heart project around March, or sort of, actually kind of we started at end of 2020 when we sort of between several lockdowns. And I said to Eyal, I really want to create a space for all these incredible women musicians that currently reside in Melbourne, that are currently enduring lockdowns together, that are stuck between continents, between professions, between realities, to have a space to come together and share some music. And I just wanted to put on a show around International Women's Day, so around the 8th of March, 2021. Then us three kind of got talking, and I thought, well, we really actually want to create a platform, and also inspired by our experiences at the Women's Iftar, and inspired just by, there are all these women in Melbourne that I see on stage, we wave to each other, that we like each other's things on social media, but we're all just surviving and trying to have a job and trying to be as fabulous as our Instagram and Facebook profile says that we are. So we never actually get to spend time together. So early in 21, we gathered with Tariro Mavondo, who's a fabulous Zimbabwean Australian theatre maker and storyteller and poet, spoken word artist, Asil Teya, Palestinian Australian artist and activist, Queen of Hearts, sort of Latin American collective of women of Latin American and Australian background playing newly composed Latin music. And thus we all came together and went, let's do it. That was the first lineup, yeah. So we came together, we did this show, and the three of us kind of walked away out of it going, this could be something, this could be a format, and let's build it up. So leading to 2022, I don't even know which year it is anymore. We're joined by Sarita McHarg, who you met in the last week's presentation, Lizzie Kuth, the fabulous MC, South Sudanese Australian MC, Wahida Isai and Elnaz Sheshgilani are the two Iranian artists who will be joining us, a qanun player and a theatre maker. Asil Teya and Tariro Mavondo are also returning to the lineup. Have I missed anyone?
That's it, I think that's all of us, yeah.
I think that's all of us. I'm pretty sure that's all of us.
Sarita, yeah, that's
everybody. That is all of us. Sarita, 3 farms.
It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
It is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So this was for you to get to know us as we're not on stage. I'm not this emotional, and I don't miss song entries, and I don't, and lots of things happen. But the Resonant Heart was for us, by us, and created for female voices, but created by generous help and support of incredible, dare I say, men as well. So today with us, the people that I call the cardiologists are Eyal Chepkiewicz, who basically just realizes most of my ideas, I've realized, who's really the brain I never had. Leo Rodriguez Conti, Daniel Jauregui is not with us tonight, but is always with us in some way. And my fabulous thespian friend, Willow Conway, is on the balcony of the space where we're doing this. And Willow and I go way back to Melbourne Independent Theatre 10 years ago, and all I can say is, babes, we've come a long way since them warehouse parties. So we're going to finish up with a song about a heart and from the heart, because it's about the Resonant Heart. This is Mi Corazon, My Heart, a much-loved Sephardic romance about flirting and courting and balconies and enduring it on a hot day under your beloved's balcony and them not really paying much attention. So thank you so much, and we really look forward to sharing more Resonant Heart with you and the concert, which we'll announce soon. Mi corazón Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're SARAY Iluminado Femme. We're the part of the Resonant Heart mini-series. This is episode 2. Tonight with me were Irini Vela on lautus, Kelly Dowell on ney, clarinet and frame drum, and Leo Rodriguez-Conti and Eyal Chipkiewicz on production and cardiology. Stay tuned.